guys, welcome to Inside the NFL Today. My name is Damon, and today is Power Tower Tuesday, and I'm going to be giving you guys my power rankings. I create my power rankings 100% on my own. This is my first one I'm doing this so far this year, so it might change up a little, but this is my first shot at it. I'm basing it all on my personal opinion, so it may be a little bit different. I'm not going all 100% based off of records, so you may see some people with a worse record thrown off in different locations. But here we go. Start off at number 32, we had the Jacksonville Jaguars. This one is self-explanatory. The Jacksonville Jaguars are the worst team in the league. They've been beaten by double digits multiple weeks in a row, and I don't think there's going to be any way they're going to be able to beat a team. I haven't looked at their schedule, but even the other worst teams in the league don't think they're going to be able to beat them. They aren't good on the offense or defense, and they're a mess right now. Next, we have the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they are 0-7 right now. Jaguars were 0-8. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 0-7. Pretty bad right now. Coaching staff and everything is a mess there. I don't think they're going to be able to win any games this season. They may win one or two if they fire some of their coaches, but as of right now, they are a mess on both sides of the ball, just like the Jacksonville Jaguars. They need a coaching staff change to really change what's going on right then, and I don't think changing anything else other than coaching staff or a quarterback change will help them. Next, we have the Minnesota Vikings at 1-6 at number 20. At 30 on the rankings. The Minnesota Vikings, the reason they're here for me is because they're not going to get anywhere farther without a quarterback or coaching staff change, just like the last team. They're a good team okay team, I should say, on defense. They would be okay on offense if they had a quarterback. They would be a lot higher in the power rankings if they had a good quarterback, but they have neither a good quarterback, and I think it's time for a coaching staff change. As much as I like Leslie Frazier, I do not think his tactics are working very well right now, and I think you're going to have to see some major changes before we see some improvement in Minnesota. Next, we have at number 29 on my power rankings, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at 2-5. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, the reason they're here is because they're really an old team right now, and they're aging, and it's evident in their game. They were a great team at one point. Now they're kind of collapsing, and I think you're going to see the collapse of them. I don't think the rest of this year they're going to really rise a whole lot. Ben Roethlisberger is still pretty good, but their team isn't as a whole doing very well. Next, we have the Houston Texans at 2-5, and they're number 28 on my power ranking. The reason the Houston Texans are here is because the Houston Texans are really just one of those teams that's malfunctioning right now. Brian Cushing out for the season, LCL, and something else, tear in his leg. He's out for the season. That's a really big blow to them. Brian Cushing's really, really good, and I don't think they're going to be able to do well on defense without him. They've kind of taken a step back as a defense, aren't holding two teams as many points as they were, and offense, they're a complete mess without a quarterback. It's a quarterback league. Without a quarterback, you're not going to do very well. Matt Schwab magically got bad this year. He wasn't a very good quarterback to begin with. He was okay to good. He was never stellar, but this season he's horrible. So they're going to go through a downtime until they can find a good quarterback. Next is Atlanta Falcons. They have a record of 2-5, and they're at number 27 on my power rankings. Also, power rankings will be in the description if you guys want to look at it. I'll probably put a little annotation at the beginning of the video, but in the description if you want to look at it as I'm going through these teams. Atlanta Falcons, the reason they're number 27 right now is because they're really malfunctioning. Without Julio Jones and Roddy White, they're really not doing well as a team, and that really shows that Matt Ryan isn't quite as good as a quarterback as we thought he was. I don't think they're going to improve very much this season. They may be able to beat some of the worst teams than them. They may be able to beat a few better teams than them just by luck or anything like that, or if that team's having a bad week. But I don't think this team is going to go very far. Their defense was never very good to start with this season, but their offense was really looking at going to be a juggernaut. But without Roddy White and Julio Jones, they aren't going to be able to do anything because Matt Ryan isn't that great. Next, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. They have a record of 3-5, and they're number 26 on their power ranking. They're kind of self-explanatory too. They aren't very good. Michael Vick burst his hamstring, and he's likely going to be out for this game and the next one. They're not very good on offense without him, so right now they're going to stick at 26 for me on my power rankings because without him, I don't think they can win very many games, if any at all. Next, we have the Washington Redskins at 2-5, who showed they can actually put up a fight against one of the better teams in the NFL this season. We'll be talking about the Denver Broncos later, but they kept in a fight with the Denver Broncos till late when Peyton Manning turned it up and really gave them no chance to win. Next, we have the Miami Dolphins at number 24, and they have a record of 3-4. The Miami Dolphins are really one of those teams that I'm kind of disappointed with. They started out the season 3-0. Now they're lost 4 in a row, I believe. Yeah, 4 in a row, and they aren't doing very good. I thought they were a better team than this. They beat my Colts, and they looked really good during that win, but I don't know what's with them. They're just doing bad right now, and I don't know if they're going to be able to win very many more. This losing streak seems to really be affecting them, and let's look to see a little bit. The next few weeks are going to really tell us what type of team they are. If they continue to lose, they aren't going to the playoffs. If they start winning, hopefully they'll rebound and start doing well again. New York Giants are next. Mainly because the reason I put them so high, even though they're 2-6, they're number 23 on my power rankings. The reason New York Giants are so high are because they have Eli Manning, and he hasn't thrown an interception in the past 2 weeks, and they've won both weeks. So it seems that their winning is directly linked to Eli Manning. Their defense is horrible, but with Eli Manning, they can win at least a few games this season. Next on the list, we have the Cleveland Browns at number 22. Their record is 3-5. They had a good fight against Kansas City. Did not come out with the win, but maybe prove Kansas City isn't as good as a team as everybody thinks. Cleveland Browns are better than everybody thinks, I think. So let's look for this team to continue to improve in the next few weeks. And once they actually get a good player at the quarterback position, they may actually be a good contender for the playoffs because their defense is actually pretty good. So for the St. Louis Rams, they are number 20 on my power rankings right now. The record right now is 3-4. I am doing this before Monday Night Football, but I'm betting they'll lose this game and lose it in epic fashion. Next week, you'll see the effects of this game. Yes, I do my power rankings before Monday Night Football. That's the way I can get you guys out with them early on Tuesday. So St. Louis Rams will probably dive down worse on my power rankings right now. I have them at 21 because we don't know how well their backup quarterback, Kellen Clemens, is going to perform. I don't think they have any starting quarterback on their roster right now, and I think they are going to dive down and become one of the worst teams in the NFL on my power rankings. Next, we have the Buffalo Bills at number 20. Their record is 3-5. Buffalo Bills are doing a lot better than I thought. I think with E.J. Manuel healthy and doing well, developed, and with C.J. Spiller doing well and healthy, I think this team is actually a playoff contender. We'll really have to see once they can get both in sync and both developed to a maximum potential at the end of the season. We'll see whether at the end of the season or next season will be when they can contend for the playoffs. Next, we have the New York Jets right behind them. New York Jets got blown out this weekend. They have a 4-4 record, but I have them here because they got blown out. They're at number 19, and they will drop more if they do not perform better next week. 18 is Tennessee Titans. They have a record of 3-4. They their record was 3-1 with Jake Locker before he got hurt, and now they are 3-4. This team is not very good without Jake Locker, and maybe we're exposing they're bad. They may dive down more. They may stay kind of where they are, depending on if they can get somebody who's better at the quarterback position. Oakland Raiders are also 3-4. And they are number 17 on my power rankings because the Oakland Raiders are surprising everybody. I thought this was going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL this season. They're doing a lot better at quarterback than I thought. Had the longest quarterback run in NFL history, actually, with 93 yards. So the Oakland Raiders are doing a lot better than everybody thought. And I'm going to look for them to be maybe even a threat for the playoffs this season. Maybe a surprise threat for a wild card. They probably won't beat Denver, but they may have a chance at a wild card spot later in the season. Next, we have the Baltimore Ravens at 3-4. They're number 16. And the Baltimore Ravens are really doing worse this season. They just came off the Super Bowl. They should be doing better. Shouldn't have paid Joe Flacco all that money because they couldn't get some of their other players. And you're really seeing the repercussions of that because they don't have any of those great players on defense that they used to have, and they are suffering because of it. Next, we have the Chicago Bears at number 15. They're 4-3. The reason I have them so low right now is because we don't know how they're going to do without Jay Cutler. When Jay Cutler gets back, they'll vault back up high for me. But for right now, without Jay Cutler, this is a pretty bad team. Next, we have the Dallas Cowboys at number 14. They're 4-4. They choked this weekend, doing what they do every week, whether it's Tony Romo, whether it's their defense, whether it's their wide receivers. Somebody chokes every week. They end up losing the game by 1 point. They're a really disappointing team, and they aren't going to be. I'm going to start not letting them advance very much on my power rankings because if they can't win in the end, they're not going to be able to advance in the playoffs. So what is it worth ranking them in the top if they can't get into the playoffs and advance because they choke every time? Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals at number 13. Bruce Arians has really turned his team around. Carson Palmer is actually a legitimate quarterback for Larry Fitzgerald. He's at least decent enough for Larry Fitzgerald to put up good numbers. Their offense is doing pretty well as their defense. Next, we have the Carolina Panthers. They're number 12 on my power rankings. They're 4-3. Panthers are showing up in the pass and run game. Cam Newton is really going to determine how well this team does. When Cam Newton's doing well, they can't stack the box with 8 guys and stop the run game. And when they can't stop the run game, this team is elite. San Diego Chargers are next at number 11 on my power rankings. Their record is 4-3. Philip Rivers is doing stellar this year. It's his best year of his career, and they actually are a legitimate threat now. They used to be a joke. Philip Rivers used to be a joke last season, but now they're actually a legitimate threat. Next, and let me warn you guys, I'm getting into the top 10. My top 10 is actually pretty shaken up of what normal people's is. I'm going to be aggressive with my power rankings. And if you think I'm incorrect, don't be a jerk about it, but state in the comments what you think is correct and why. I'm going to give my reasons why for each team is here. It may change from week to week, but this is my first view of how these teams should be. Number 10 is the New England Patriots, and this is why. Their defense is not elite. They've lost a lot of guys in the middle, which is making their run-stop defense very horrible. Their pass defense is okay, but this is not a team that's going to win games based on defense. It's all based on Tom Brady. On offense, Tom Brady's the best guy. It's his worst statistical year. That's why they're number 10 on my power rankings, because they're really only going to be taken as far as Tom Brady can take them. If Tom Brady can't win games, they're not going to win games. Next, we have the Detroit Lions at 5-3. They're number 9 on my power rankings. The reason Detroit Lions are here is because they just came off a pretty big win against Dallas Cowboys. They actually look like a pretty good team, and Megatron is unstoppable. Their key to win is just throw it up to Megatron every game. Cincinnati Bengals are next, and the reason I put Cincinnati Bengals or Detroit Lions is because they just won last week. These two teams seem pretty evenly matched to me, personally. They're a lot alike. AJ Green, Megatron. Megatron is better. Then you have Andy Dalton at quarterback and Matthew Stafford. And I kind of place them the same. They're kind of quarterbacks that are still unproven in my mind. Not elite, not bad. They're good. They're good for starters. They're not elite, though. Next after that, we have the Green Bay Packers, and the reason I have Green Bay Packers at number 7 is because their offense can be probably the best in the league with Eddie Lacy and Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, and their defense is actually holding up better than they were last season at least. Next, here's where the controversy is going to start. At number 6 on my power rankings, I have the Denver Broncos. The reason I have the Denver Broncos here is because they have not faced any opponents other than the Colts that are very good. Go look up their schedule. I may put their schedule in the description. All you have to do is search Denver Broncos schedule. They haven't faced anybody very good. No offense. They faced the NFC East. The NFC East is horrible this year with the Cowboys, Eagles, and Washington Redskins. They're all really low and Giants, and they're all really low in my power rankings. And the other teams they faced aren't very good either. And the only 2 good teams that the Broncos have faced are maybe the Cowboys and Colts. They lost to the Colts and barely beat the Cowboys by 3 points. Their defense isn't as good as everybody thinks, but they do have Peyton Manning, and Peyton Manning is the X factor. He can win games when you need it the most. Next, we have the Kansas City Chiefs at number 5, and the reason they're number 5 is the same reason. They're undefeated, but they have not faced anybody worth noting. Whenever they face somebody worth noting, based on their performance, I'll be able to more accurately rank them. I almost feel like not ranking them because I don't want to offend Chiefs fans because, yes, they are undefeated, so technically they should be number 1, but they haven't faced anybody quality. That's why they are number 5. Next, we have my team, the Indianapolis Colts. I placed them at number 4 because they have beat the San Francisco 49ers, Seattle Seahawks, and Denver Broncos, all top 10 teams, and they lost to the San Diego Chargers, but the San Diego Chargers are almost the top 10 team in my eyes. They're number 11, and the only team that they've lost too bad is the Miami Dolphins, and they beat all those elite teams, so it almost makes up for it. It was like it was a fluke. I don't think anybody has beaten more quality opponents with better records or faced them in general, so for right now, the Colts will be there. They'll drop next week if they don't do really well against the Houston Texans. San Francisco 49ers are next, and the reason I placed them over the Colts is because I think if the Colts would face them now, they may lose. I don't know if I want to call that first game a fluke, but the 49ers were obviously not on the same page. They weren't the ones I was used to watching, and the Colts beat them with an easy win, and that was really just a fluke for them. I think if the Colts face them right now, like I said, it may be a different story. Next, at number 2, we have the Seattle Seahawks. They have a record of 6-1. And the reason I have the Seattle Seahawks here, haven't watched them on Monday night yet. Keep in mind, I'm recording this midday Monday, so I can have it out Tuesday morning. But Seattle Seahawks are here because they only have one loss. That's to the Colts. That's why I have the Colts up so high. And the Seattle Seahawks look pretty good. They've looked pretty good in everything else. They're good on every category except for passing offense, and they can easily fix that with Russell Wilson being a little better, and Percy Harvin will help them with that once he gets back. Number one overall is New Orleans Saints. Their only loss is to the New England Patriots, and that's because Tom Brady had an epic drive down for the end zone for a touchdown. The reason I have New Orleans Saints, again, number one, is because their defense is great with Rob Ryan as their defensive coordinator. And offense, they're great with Drew Brees. Drew Brees is like Tom Brady, like a Peyton Manning. He can really take control of the game and win the game alone on offense. And that's why they are number one on my power rankings, because they have that X-factor quarterback and they have a great defense. I like constructive criticism, so place a comment in the bottom what you think about my power rankings. Yes, I know some of the rankings are a little bit outrageous and out there, but I want to hear that from you guys. Not everybody's going to like my power rankings. Try not to take it too hard. These are my opinion, and it's not fact. So comment. I'll take your comments into consideration. If there's a fact that I didn't bring up that will change the rankings, leave it. If you guys have something about maybe the Philadelphia Eagles, a stat that I haven't heard of, leave it in the comments. Maybe it'll change my power rankings next week. I'll try to come out with power rankings every Tuesday, sometime during the day. Try to get it out in the morning, no guarantees because I have work in school. But I will try to get out in Tuesday mornings, if not Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. Thanks for watching, guys. I have these power rankings in the description, and I'll have them in the description, and I will go based off of these next week and move around the teams. Hope you guys liked the video. Please rate, comment, subscribe.